Have you ever been in a high-pressure situation with a lot of people relying on you? Well, this is actually the exact situation that former NBA guard Nick Anderson was in the 1995 finals. He was playing in Game 1 of the finals against the Houston Rockets for the Orlando Magic, and he went up to the free throw line to attempt one of two free throws. He went up and missed the first, and they were up by 3, so they really only needed one more free throw to seal the game and make it a two-possession game with time expiring. And then unfortunately, he missed the second one, but he got lucky and was able to get the offensive rebound, where he got fouled once again and got put back to the free throw line because they were in the bonus. So he got 2 more free throws, and despite being a 70% free throw shooter, he missed once again. He missed his third and fourth free throw, and the Trailblazers got the rebound the second time, and they went down and hit a 3 to force overtime, where they ended up winning Game 1 of the finals and actually ended up winning the series overall. And Nick Anderson, although being a very solid player throughout his whole career, averaging over 15 points a game, he said all he hears about from fans is how he missed that dreaded shot in 1995. Now, I'm going to teach you how to never be in the situation of Nick Anderson, but first we need to go through the history of the free throw, then the correct way to shoot one and the mechanics behind it, and finally, the real-world benefits of knowing how to shoot a free throw. So the history is, let's go all the way back to the start. James Naismith invented basketball in 1891 while teaching a YMCA class. And originally, there was no free throw shot, and the ball was more like a modern-day volleyball. It didn't have any of the grooves of modern-day basketball, and it actually bounced more similar and was in more similar size to a volleyball. Later in 1895, though, they changed it to be a little more resembling of a modern-day basketball, but it had the laces similar to a football that helped with the grip of the ball. But later in the mid-1900s, it became more of a modern basketball that we all know today. Although there are many different variations, like a Wilson evolution that any experienced basketball player would tell you is more slippery and doesn't have as good of a grip on the ball, and a Spalding that is a lot smoother and it's easier to grip, but it weighs less, so it can affect your shot if you're used to shooting with a different ball. And finally, only a year after the game was invented, they added a foul, and originally it was just a inbounds pass and a reset of the play. But then they invented something called a shooting foul in 1900, and it was originally just one shot for however many points, or for 2 points, because there was no 3-point at the time. So it would be one shot from 20 feet away for 2 points. But then later, they changed it to be 2 shots from 15 feet, and each shot was worth 1 point each. And this is actually the same as it is today and hasn't changed since the early 1900s. Now, for the correct mechanics of shooting a basketball, there's actually a lot more to go into it than you think. If you're going to shoot a free throw, the first thing that you need to look for is a nail that is in the middle of each free throw line. And you need to get your dominant foot right behind it. Then you need to have both of your feet shoulder width apart and square them and face them both to the hoop. Then you need to, also another important thing is many people have a routine that they practice, and it's important to have the same routine. So for me, an example is I just do 2 dribbles, and then I spin the ball, and then I find the grooves in the basketball to put my fingers on to help get backspin. And then you need to make sure that your elbow is always under the ball, because if not, it won't go straight. And your guide hand needs to be off to the side. And then once you finally get ready to take the shot, you need to bend your knees to generate the power for the shot. And then when you go up to shoot, you need to bring the ball slightly above your head and flick the wrist to help generate the backspin. And also, you need to hold your follow through. And as many coaches will tell you, it's like reaching into a cookie jar. And this helps it so it doesn't throw off the direction of the shot, and also helps the backspin. Now, for the real world benefits of knowing how to shoot a basketball. In an interview with USA Today, Hall of Fame basketball coach Mark Price says that free throws are the first thing he teaches any youth player. So it is a very important skill for you to learn early in your career. And he said that is the first thing he teaches any player because it is a foundation for basketball. It's important for your form and being able to do something like when you're under pressure. And that actually the next real life benefit of becoming good at a free throw and knowing how to shoot one is the dedication it takes. Many NBA players, including Indiana Pacers guard Karis LeVert, said that he practices free throw more than any other shot, and he said he takes over 100 free throws a day. This helps build dedication for other things because it is known that everyone won't always want to work on their free throw shot, but it's still very important because you have to put the work in to get to the highest level. And finally, the next real world benefit is being able to deal with it under pressure. Much like former NBA player Nick Anderson, a lot of players say that they were overwhelmed with the pressure of having to shoot a free throw in a big time situation. And this is why it helps build you. This helps build you to be able to perform under pressure, because you'll be able to perform the biggest moments, and you just have to rely on your technique. So now that we went over the history of basketball, or the history of free throws, the correct mechanics and the correct way to shoot a free throw, and finally the real world benefits, we're going to end it. And thank you all for coming to this station.